How are you doing today? I am going to talk about one of my favorite subjects because a lot of people think I'm very obsessed about what I talk about. So I'm going to talk about censorship. And I know something that it's a hill I die on pretty much these days because of my position. And people are perplexed when I state my position. Nobody should be. It should not even be controversial. But for some reason, my position on free speech is controversial these days. Now, let's talk about social media and the internet. And I think that prior to the mainstreaming of social media, that freedom of speech was pretty much a bedrock principle in our societies by most people across the political spectrum, roughly speaking. I think that people pretty much, um, when asked, even if they didn't fully mean it, they knew that freedom of speech is a very important issue. And it used to be politically, it used to be considered maybe somewhat political suicide to say that you overtly support censorship or silencing others. So people will say, in broadly speaking, hey, I support freedom of expression. They may say but here and a but there, but they want to make it clear they support freedom of speech across the board. But social media came along and things kind of changed. It was gradual, but it started to, just started to happen over the years. And it's getting to be so commonplace these days that is you should be concerned if you're not concerned. And if you're supporting the censorship, I have to say with due respect, what the hell's wrong with you? Now, January this year, Donald Trump had his Twitter account suspended as a result of the January 6th insurrection. Also related to the January 6th insurrection was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, she had her Twitter account temporarily suspended because of COVID-19 information that was supposedly false. Well, I personally think it was false myself because, she's a conspiracy nut, but I'm not. So, well, I'll go into that in a moment. Alex Jones, 2018, pretty much given the internet death penalty. Somehow, the Taliban in Afghanistan are allowed to tweet. Now, I see a little bit of inconsistency here. And what I mean by that is that, you know, as bad as Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Alex Jones all are, um, even from a leftist point of view, like myself, not liking these people, is it really, really a good thing to have censorship against those individuals? And I have very bad lighting in here. Hold on, just a second. Bad lighting, better. Is it really a good thing to have censorship against these people, but allow the Taliban to have to tweet? Now, I'm going to give you my position all across the board in a second, but Fox News decided to make a political issue out of the Taliban having a Twitter account. So I am going to go ahead, put it on here, and let y'all listen to it. Give me a moment. All right.
Mike Emanuel is in Washington with that report. Hi, Mike. Well, hi, Jackie. Former President Trump's son, Don Jr., is calling out what he argues is a totally unfair double standard. Quote, I guess actually doing a real insurrection doesn't count as breaking the rules anymore. His father, the 45th president, is banned from Twitter. One Taliban spokesman, Suhail Shaheen, has more than 360,000 Twitter followers for his personal account. It's expected his reach will grow substantially if he's allowed to operate official channels of the Afghan government, an opportunity potentially to spread propaganda and misinformation. Facebook says it hasn't decided what to do about the official Afghan government accounts. It wants to allow some more time to see how the situation in Afghanistan develops. Facebook notes it has a dedicated team of Afghanistan experts, native Dari and Pashto speakers, who can help identify emerging issues on that platform. Facebook tells Fox the Taliban is sanctioned as a terrorist organization under U.S. law, and they are banned from our services under our dangerous organization policies. This means we remove accounts maintained by or on behalf of the Taliban and prohibit praise, support, and representation of them. A Georgia Republican congressman who served in the Air Force told me today it is very dangerous for the Taliban to have open access.
With the internet, with social media platforms, their reach is worldwide, even beyond Kabul, even beyond Afghanistan. They can even use that platform to coordinate terrorist activities outside of Afghanistan, even in the United States of America.
Twitter has not responded to our request for comment so far. Jackie?
Mike Emanuel, I bet they wouldn't respond to that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hold tight. All right, a lot to say about that. Donald Trump Jr. He's a clown. I mean, he's a clown. He looks sleazy. He's silly, but he might have a point about the Taliban versus his father. And with regard to Barry Loudermilk, what kind of a name is that? You know, he's getting on Joe Biden's case about the pullout of Afghanistan. Shows you from the get-go he's wrong on that, and he's wrong on the idea of whether the Taliban ought to be allowed to be tweeting or not. Now, I know that Facebook has kind of they shut down Antifa, shut down Black Lives Matter, shutting down basically various alt-right channels. David Duke has been shut down. Louis Farrakhan's been shut down. And as I said, to shut down Antifa and to shut down Black Lives Matter, as if they're bad guys. That's just wrong, because Antifa and Black Lives Matter are not. They're not negative. They're not bad organizations. They're not negative. They're trying to do good things. Black Lives Matter is trying to basically defeat police brutality, end police brutality as we know it. Antifa, a lot of people say, oh, well, they're all violent or what have you. No, maybe there are some overzealous people that have engaged in violence under the Antifa banner, but the majority of Antifa are not violent. And I know what I'm talking about. Now, David Duke is a racist and anti-Semitic piece of shit. Louis Farrakhan is a racist and anti-Semitic piece of shit. They should still be allowed to be online, as much as I despise them. So I want to make, basically what I'm saying is that I oppose all forms of censorship. And that means what it means. Freedom of speech is absolute. It's not pretty. I mean, it doesn't take any guts to be for freedom of speech for non-controversial things, or things that people pretty much universally like or approve of. Oh, that's the easiest thing in the world. You know that that when you take a stand for freedom of speech, even when it comes to speech you find the most offensive, that takes guts because you're going to get a lot of shit for it. And I get it for it. But our Constitution, it does guarantee people's right to assembly, freedom of religion, and yeah, freedom from religion too, by the way. It guarantees freedom of political expression. So, that means that if let's say the Revolutionary Communist Party in the 1984 Republican convention, I believe down in Texas, when they were burning the American flag, um, and thankfully that case was taken to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court declared that flag desecration was protected free speech. You got people that want to take that away and criminalize desecration of the American flag. I personally don't like it. I don't like to see people doing that. But again, if you believe in a free society, that means, if as long as you own that piece of cloth and you're not violating any fire codes, and if you want to torch the flag, that should be your right. I do not like the KKK. I do not like neo-Nazis. I think they're pieces of shit. They're evil. But as long as they're not harming anybody and they have a street permit, they want to march down the street like a bunch of damn morons. I think the best way to fight offensive speech is to drown them out with positive speech. Go over there, make fun of them, just laugh at them, shout louder if you want. That's your freedom of speech. So, the thing about it is, most importantly, as a First Amendment absolutist, I'm very selfish as a leftist when it comes to why we need to preserve freedom of speech. Because when we allow censorship, the left gets targeted, and the left is being targeted right now. I mean, half of the states in this country has BDS laws, basically meaning, and I know I've talked about this over and over again, where half the states basically you could be put in prison and fined and put in jail maybe about 10, 20 years for engaging in boycott, divestment, sanctions, basically. In other words, if you criticize the state of Israel and urge a boycott, you could be put in prison, theoretically. And thankfully, recently, Abby Martin of the Empire Files, she had her freedom of speech protected when she challenged the University of Georgia University of Georgia when it came to the loyalty oath that they require speakers to sign. What the hell does a country halfway across the globe have to do with what goes on in the state of Georgia? Freedom of speech must be kept absolute. Right now, they're shutting down left-wing channels, places like YouTube. I mean, the Combo Couch has been shut down a few times. Some of these other programs will be shut down. Anti-war voices tend to be shut down too. So, for ideological reasons, you got to support freedom of speech. You don't have to endorse what the other people that you might find opposition to. You don't have to endorse what they have to say. You just have to, on principle, support their freedom of speech. Now, I make no bones about it. I oppose the taking down or taking away or suspending Donald Trump's Twitter account. It's not because I like Donald Trump, because I don't. Why would I like a billionaire bigot? Donald Trump, those little mean tweets might be the only thing that's well, I'll put it this way. I personally found him comic relief in him. I mean, he's like he's doing a lot of fucked up things when he was the president. But you know what? Those mean tweets did put a smile on my face. It's not because I agree with it. It just It was levity. I mean, at least with a fucked up president, you got a little bit of a comedy show. It like what Kyle Kalinske said when he was talking about Ben Shapiro um, hating Donald Trump in this area, but liking Donald Trump in this area. Kyle Kalinske was talking about that. He was like, "Well, everything Ben Shapiro hates about Donald Trump, he are issues that, yeah, Kyle Kalinske don't find so objectionable. Some of the more benign things, like for example, he confessed he liked the mean tweets. Hey, and I have to agree that the mean tweets were funny. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now she had her Twitter account taken away because of basically conspiracy theories about COVID, false information about COVID. And yes, I do believe I do believe she spread misinformation about COVID. Should her account be taken down? No, no. I despise Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she should be behind bars, but I don't think her Twitter account should be taken away. So my position on Marjorie Taylor Greene is put that Karen behind bars, arrest her, put her behind bars for the insurrection in January 6th. But if she wants to tweet, by all means, she could tweet all day long behind bars. Alex Jones, again, Alex Jones is crazy. I don't like anything he stands for. Um, he just he's a terrible person in many ways. But should his whole channel on YouTube and other areas of social media should have been taken away from him? Should they have given him the internet death penalty? Absolutely not. And I'm kind of angry because I used to listen to Alex Jones just to laugh at him. I mean, I don't like him. I don't agree with him, but my God, he was funny. I mean, just like why would you want to take away people's entertainment? Entertainment doesn't mean you agree with it, but he was funny. I mean, he sounded like a madman, and just just no, the Taliban. Of course, they're evil. Taliban is they're fundamentalists, they're right wing. Like what my friend, all American socialist Michael Richards would say. Um, yeah, they are retrograde right wingers, and that's the term he'll use for reactionaries. And the Taliban are reactionary as hell. Should their Twitter account be shut down? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because as evil as the Taliban are, as they are, and remember who helped nurture the Taliban. Remember, Ronald Reagan had these people in the White House, and he compared them to the founding fathers back in the 1980s when they were fighting the big bad Soviet Union back in the 1980s. Now, should they have their account terminated? So my position is this: Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Alex Jones, and all the other, hard right wing people, and even some of the good leftist people whose social media has been suspended or terminated, they should not be censored. Neither should the Taliban. And I say this as somebody who really despises the ideology of the Taliban. And I think that even from an informational point of view, I mean, you need to know what they're up to. And so, I think that the best way to defeat people that you don't like is to know what they're up to, or to determine um, what they're saying is full of shit or not. So, anyway, this is where I stand on this issue when it comes to freedom of speech. And as I said once before, and I'll say it again, Freedom of speech may not be pretty, but the alternative is always going to be uglier. We need to preserve freedom of speech at all costs. I will die on that hill. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, well, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, as a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. Feel free also to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace, class struggle, and 100% preserve freedom of speech. Make it absolute. Later.